Hello everyone, today we are going to learn a very interesting rose called Down the Rabbit Hole. This video is especially for those who want a simple and easy to understand explanation of your English lessons. So if you find the prose a little difficult to understand, don't worry, we'll go through it together step by step in a simple way. Now before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you heard of Alice? Maybe some of you have watched the movie Alice in Wonderland, or you may have heard about a little girl named Alice who enters a very strange and magical world. Well, Down the Rabbit Hole is the beginning of Alice's wonderful adventure in Alice Adventures in Wonderland, written by Lewis Carroll. So, are you ready to find out what happened when Alice followed a strange white rabbit and fell down a rabbit hole? Let's get into the lesson. The story begins with Alice sitting beside her sister. Alice was feeling bored because there was nothing interesting for her to do. Suddenly, she noticed a white rabbit. Now, there was something very unusual about this rabbit. The rabbit was wearing a waistcoat and carrying a pocket watch. Alice was surprised when she saw the rabbit take the watch out of its waistcoat pocket. The rabbit looked at the watch and said that he was late. Alice became very curious. She thought it was strange enough to see a rabbit wearing a waistcoat, but a rabbit carrying a watch and worrying about being late was even more surprising. The white rabbit hurried away, and Alice decided to follow him. The rabbit soon disappeared into a large rabbit hole. Without thinking twice, Alice followed him and jumped into the rabbit hole. And then Alice began to fall. She fell down and down for what seemed like a very long time. While she was falling, Alice had plenty of time to look around her. She noticed that the sides of the rabbit hole were filled with cupboards and shelves. Very unusual. Children, have you ever heard of a rabbit hole with bookshelves and cupboards? Yes, it is strange. She even saw things like maps and pictures hanging on the walls. Alice wondered where she was going to land. The fall seemed to continue for a very long time, and Alice began to think about all sorts of things. Finally, she reached the bottom of the rabbit hole, but her adventure was only beginning. Alice found herself in a long, low hall with many doors. She tried to open some of the doors, but they were all locked. Then noticed a small golden key lying on the table. Alice was excited and tried the key in the doors. The key opened a tiny door. Behind the little door, Alice could see a beautiful garden. She desperately wanted to enter the garden, but there was a problem. Alice was too big to fit through the tiny door. And that is where Alice's next adventure begins. So children, this chapter introduces us to Alice as a curious, adventurous and imaginative little girl. Have you heard the word curious before? Meaning interest, keen interest. So Alice is a little girl who is so much interested to learn about new things and explore adventures. Her curiosity leads her into a completely strange and magical world. And that is how Alice incredible adventure in Wonderland begins. Children, always remember curiosity can lead to new discoveries, so never ever hesitate to explore new adventures. As we are done with the story, let's remember few things about the story. In the story, who is the main character? Alice. She sees a white rabbit. The rabbit is wearing a waistcoat. He takes a pocket watch from his waistcoat pocket. Alice follows the rabbit into a rabbit hole. She falls down the hole and reaches a long hall. She finds a small golden key. The key opens a tiny door leading to a beautiful garden, but Alice is too big to enter the door. So kids, remember, curiosity can lead us to wonderful discoveries. I hope this explanation helped you understand down the rabbit hole more easily. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you have a lesson that you find difficult to understand, stay tuned for more simple and easy to understand explanations. See you in the next video. Bye bye kids.